Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to Geometry's Chapter 4 Study Guide. We're going to go over each of these 24 problems, and some will take a little bit more time, others will be pretty quick. So let's just jump right in. So it's problem number 1. So we have in the diagram, name the vector and select its component form. So we're going to see we got the arrow of the vector is here on A. So when we're going to actually name the vector, to name it, we're going to name it with the O first and then the A. So as it goes from O to A, so we're going to just name this, vector OA, and we just put a little arrow kind of up there on the top. So there's naming the vector, and then writing its component form is going to be, we're going to have these kind of like parentheses, but they're more V's than parentheses. And so we open one like this here, and then it's going to be going from O to A. So we're always going to go with like the horizontal changes first. So we always want to go, which way we want to go here is we want to go left this way, all the way over here to where A is at. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. That means -4 is our left or right change. That's our horizontal change. And then the vertical change is going from here, it's going to go down 3. So we're going to go left 4 and then down 3. So then we just say comma -3. And then we just close off the vector there with that kind of V-shaped parenthesis. And there's the component form. So naming the vector and its component form. Alright, next one, number 2, we're at a rule for the translation of this ABC to the prime one. So our ABC here is the one solid, and then the one dashed is our prime. So we're just going to write a rule for this, and we just can kind of pick one point. Really, we can just pick A if we want to just pick A and A prime and see, okay, what did we do to go from A to A prime? That's all we're going to do here, and we're just going to look at we're going to just look at the X and Y coordinates for those. And so we usually just write the rule like this. X and Y is now going to become this rule. So what are we going to do to X? Well, it looks like we're going to be just adding, looks like it's going by 2's here. Actually, what you got to recognize here, every box is worth 2. So it goes 4, 8, and 12 here. So if you're not careful, you got to realize it's going by 2, then 4. So if we go from A to where A prime is, that's one box, so that's 2. So we're going to add 2 to X. So it's going to be X plus 2 for the X. And then what are we doing for the Y? From here down to where A prime is, we are going down actually 4 units. 2 boxes is going to be 4 units. So it's going to be Y minus 3. We're going down, so it's a -4. And so that's all we have to do there. Just write the rule. Just go from 1 using A and A prime. You can do that. You could do the same thing if we did B to B prime or C to C prime. It would be the same thing. Alright, number 3. So we're going to graph CD, which is I already graphed CD over here. Here's our segment CD. There are the endpoints, -5, 4, and D's at -6, 7. And we also want its image after the composition of doing 2 translations. So we're just going to take these points, plug them in for our first one here. So here is, I'll say translation number 1, then we're going to do translation number 2. So the first translation is going to do adding 2 and subtracting 3 from our points here, so from our CD here. So I'll put prime on this one. So C prime would be from the first one. So that's going to be doing just, we're going to fill in X with, for C, -5 is the X. So it's going to be -5 and comma, right, no, actually -5 plus 2, and then I'll put comma on that, and then the Y is going to be on 4 for Y, and then -3. So our C prime point will actually be the ordered pair, -3 and 4 minus 3, which would be 1. So -3, 1 for C prime. Now the D prime point. And so that's going to give us, we're going to add 2 again, but we're also going to add 1 to the Y this time. And we're going to do it now to this point. Oh, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I didn't do D prime yet. Still doing first translation, so this is still number 1. Just put 1 there. So we're still going to add 2 and subtract 3 from the D point. So negative 6 is x, and then plus the 2. And then for the y, it's 7, and we're going to put 7 minus 3 here. So 7 minus 3. And then for the D prime point, that one will be negative 4. 7 minus 3 is going to give us positive 4. So negative 4, positive 4. Okay, so that's the first translation. Now the second one, so I'll put 2 here. Let me put in a different color. We'll go red. So 2. So C double prime is now going to do the second translation from these points here. So we're going to put negative 3 from C prime into here, add 2 to it, so it's negative 3 plus 2. And for 1, for C double prime, we're going to put the 1 in here, so 1 plus 1. And so that's C double prime point. This is the one we're going to graph. We're not going to graph 1, we're just going to graph 2. So the C double prime point here is going to be negative 1, comma 2. And then for D double prime, so that's going to use the negative 4 is going to be our x, so negative 4 plus 2. And then positive 4 plus 1. So it's going to take 2 away from that, it's negative 2. And this will be 5 here on that one. So these are the points that we are going to plot over here on our graph. So we've already plotted the original right there. You should have got that down already. Now we want to plot these ones. So it's going to be negative 1, 2. So negative 1 and 2 puts me right here. And negative 2, 5. So there's negative 2. And then go up 5. So 5 is up to here. So negative 2, 5 puts me right there. And we just draw our line like that. And so this would be our C prime is this one, our double prime, and D double prime is that one there. Alright, let's move on to number 4. So number 4, the logo for a business is moved across a page 5 units right and 5 units down. Next it's moved 3 units right and 3 units down. Rewrite the composition as a single translation. So we're going to just rewrite, kind of writing a rule here is what we're doing. So we're going to do a rule for x and y. And so we're just going to fill in what we're going to do to x. So we're going to do 2 things to x actually. So with x we're going to do, we can say x first. First thing we're doing, we're going right 5 units. We are going to add 5 to that. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to, over here, it's going to go 3 units right as well. So we're going to add another 3 to that. Okay, and then the other one is going to be y. And there's 2 things we're doing to the y. We're moving 5 units down, so that means taking 5 away from that. And then we're also moving 3 units down, so take another 3 away from that. So then our final answer, we'll just clean this up here. So that's going to just give us x plus 8, 5 plus 3 there, comma y minus 8 on that one. And that's our final answer there, just x plus 8, y minus 8. That's the single translation, writing that as a single translation. Okay, with number 5, we're graphing again. So we had to graph this triangle first. So I already put it on my graph over here. So you want to copy that one down. But then we're also going to graph the image after the reflection in the line x equals 0. So the x equals 0 line, if it's going to go through the x-axis, it's got to be a vertical line going up and down, and x is 0 on the origin. So really this is the y-axis. So we can even just see that the y-axis is going to be our line of reflection here. So I have put some dashed lines or dotted lines going through here. That's going to be our line of reflection, all of this. So this is our x equals 0 line, or the y-axis is that line. So we're going to reflect it over this line. Now we could just kind of think about how far away these points are, like B is 2 away, and we could just go 2 the other side over here, so B prime will be over there. Another thing we can think of as well is like what it said there. It gave us a rule for this one where you can, since it's over the x-axis or over the y-axis, we're flipping it over the y-axis. That means y is going to stay the same, but x is going to change to its opposite. So we could do that for all these points. We can say, okay, b prime, and see, x is going to just change to its opposite. So negative 2, comma 1, and then c prime. That's going to be negative 4 now, comma 3. Negative 4, 3, and d prime. And we'll just change the x to its opposite. That's now negative 3, comma 1. And so now we just plot those points. Like I said, we could have also just saw that that's b is 2 away, so 2 away this way. That's b prime right there, which you can see is negative 2, 1, exactly what we put. And d prime is 1, 2, 3 away from that line. So 3 this side will be put right over here. For d prime, negative 3, 1, that's what d prime says there. The c is 1, 2, 3, 4 away, so 4 on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right over here, which is what this one says, negative 4, 3. And then we just connect these kind of dots together and make our triangle on this side. And then we're finished. That's all we had to do. And we can label these. We can say, okay, this is b prime, and this was c prime, and this is d prime. Alright, moving on to number 6. So vertices here of another triangle, and I've already plotted those again. So there they are. So you want to plot those on a coordinate plane for yourself. And what we want to do is we want to graph the image after reflection in the line y equals negative x. Okay, so just another reflection, but this time the reflection line, the line of reflection, is the line y equals negative x, which is this line here. I'm going to kind of dot it out here. Going this way, it's going downhill. It's like the slope is negative 1. So 1 right and 1 down. You can also be going up this way. The slope would be negative 1 going this way too. Now this one would be a little bit more challenging to try to figure out, it's how far away to flip this over. You can do that with horizontal vertical lines, but these diagonal lines is harder to see from actually matching the points on the other side. So the best way to do this one is to remember the rule for it, which on this one is going to just be changing them both to their opposites. So this one's changing both of them to their opposites. So we have negative x, negative y. So when I do that, let's go ahead and try this. Let's start with d. So for d prime, just both of them to their opposites. Now it's going to be 4, 4. So 4, 4. And if we flip 4, 4 over, we can plot that point over there. I'll plot them after I'm done here. So E, no, next one's E, not C. So E is next. So E prime, and that's negative 2, so it's going to be just positives now. So positive 2, positive 4. So 2, comma 4. And for F, F prime. So this one's going to be positive 2 and 0. So 2, 0 on that one. So 4, 4, we come over here, 4 and 4. So right there, that one's our D, our E prime, 2, 4. So right 2 and up 4. And last one, 2, 0, which is right down here. So we just kind of connect these together, draw these out, and we made our other. So we flip it over this line here, we're going to see, we'll see that. Let's see.